Anyway, eggplant coming along okay. They have not produced any eggplants yet, but they're getting ready to bloom. And okra is coming in with harvestable okra pods. For example, that one right there. We'll pick tonight. And they're doing okay. There's another one that's ready to come in. And this is the sweet potatoes I talked about last time that were not here. These are sweet potato slips that I just started from sweet potatoes that I bought at the grocery store. And as you can see, they're actually doing better than the plants that I got via mail order. So that's pretty cool. And we've even got more slips that have come in since then. Okay, let's go on to bed number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at these melons. Melons are coming in. They're starting to cover this bed, which is what we like to see. They will completely cover this bed before the season is over, and hopefully we'll get some good melons. Haven't had them in a couple of years now. And this is summer squash. This particular summer squash is yellow crookneck. I know we've got a fairly good sized one around here someplace. There's one. That's not too bad. Here's another one. It's a little unusual to get summer squash so early in the season before July, but we're doing well out here. These are flying saucer, which is a scallop squash, and they are also, as you can see, starting to come right in, and they'll be harvestable soon. And speaking of harvestable, the third variety of summer squash is our old standby zucchini. We can't go a year without growing some zucchini. And look at here. We already have one that's gotten away from us. That's a little too big. Now, you're not supposed to let him get that big. But I wasn't paying attention, and I didn't notice that he got that big already. So that's amazing to have an oversized zucchini, and it's not even summer yet. All right, here we are in winter squash land. These are acorn squash, and you can see there's a bunch of little acorn squashes around here, and a bunch of blooms happening. These guys are well underway and looking very healthy, so we're kind of happy about that. And I believe this next variety is Waltham butternut, although it's hard to know because you can see, look back here, see how all these guys have just sort of already grown into each other? I mean, this bed is completely covered already with winter squash, and like I say, it's not even summer yet, so it's hard to separate one variety from another. But I believe this variety coming out here is Waltham butternut, and this is a form of Hubbard squash, and it's hard to tell which ones are ready to actually go and have been pollinated. It looks like that's a good one, and which ones haven't. But and finally, on this end of the winter squash is actually a pumpkin variety. It's a racer pumpkin, and they are just growing like crazy. I'm kind of excited about these guys because they're so aggressive, and they're vining off of here, and as you can see, there's several little pumpkins that are showing promise already. This one, look at this one. Let's see if I can get I can't really. There we go. It's a pretty good size already. I mean, that means it's pollinated at least. And there's Jessie. Hi, Jess. What's going on? All right, time to go out and see the real pumpkin patches. So you'll notice that I put up some fencing here, and that's because I had something getting into my lesser pumpkin patch and chomping on things. So I decided to put up this cheap fencing, which is fairly cheap. and that seems to help the situation. But these are Bliss pumpkins, and also some store-bought Lowe's Dill Atlantic giant pumpkins, which we've just sort of centrally planted in this hill and allowing them to vine out. We haven't got much in the way of blossoms yet, but they're looking fairly healthy. And then those tall things in between are marigolds, which are just planted for as a bug deterrent. We'll see how well that works. But the real excitement is out here in the what I call the Greater Pumpkin Patch, which is where our Dill's Atlantic Giant special seeds were planted, and they were in the boxes, as you remember last time, the plastic lined boxes, but they have long since outgrown those. I mean, look at the way these vines are growing. That's just one plant right there, and the main vine is at least 10 feet long. Amazing. And we have pollinated one Atlantic giant pumpkin. That's this guy, and he is definitely swelling, which means he's been I should say she has been properly pollinated, and I put my little marker there to know on what date that I pollinated him, because with the Dill's Atlantic Giant, it's kind of a subset of gardening all into itself. I mean, there's some gardeners that all they do is try to grow these giant pumpkins, and I just do it as part of, my other gardening, but it's kind of crazy, and you never know what you're going to get because they're very volatile. The last time I tried to grow them, which was in 2007. What am I thinking? 2007. I had a huge one going, and it just all of a sudden stopped and died and just sort of melted into the ground. And that's what these guys do sometimes. But at least we're off to a good start here. We've already overgrown the bounds of the boarded in raised bed area, and so we're hopeful that we're going to get some nice giant pumpkins out of this. But let's go back to the garden proper. So that's pretty much going to do it for June. We won't go out to the orchard there. It's not going to be a big fruit year, but we might have a fair amount of Red Delicious and a few peaches. We'll see. We'll go out in a month or so when things are more happening out there. But this is what it looks like right now, and it's looking pretty darn good around here, right, Ma? June 2010. We've got all kinds of things happening. It's a real live garden. It's Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. And it's June when things look great in the garden. And the next time we'll see you is July. And in July is actually the gardening peak season, the high holy days of gardening, as I call them, because it's just everything is happening in July. And but June ain't so bad either, as you can tell. Things are happening around here. So we'll see you next time in July, midsummer, and everybody have a great summer, and especially enjoy your first day of summer, which is tomorrow. And we'll see you next time in July. So bye, y'all.